Now that Sir, FQ's swank brother publication, has been put to bed, all we can do is wait and see what its reception will be like. Our challenge here was to come up with a men's magazine that had the same style and image as FQ. Meanwhile, the next issue of FQ was on the drawing board with a major shoot planned in Colombia.
Look at me. Watch me. My eyes on the runway. Watch me. Tell our stories.
We made the decision to launch Sir about 7 months ago. For Jeffrey and I, we own the business, so we have to agree on everything. So it's kind of a good benchmark. We both believed it was time, and there's huge support in the market.
We're very excited about Sir because it does open up a greater category selection than perhaps FQ as a female fashion magazine.
Men were becoming so much more savvy in terms of fashion, so much more style conscious, design conscious. So obviously it just felt like the time was right to do a magazine of that nature.
Hello, Sheila Tarleton. Yes, Sir is 2 times a year now, and FQ is 4 times a year. The response has been fantastic. Advertisers, without exception, have loved it. We're publishing a brand called the FQ brand that has 2 issues a year that shine the light slightly on the male consumer, and we have 4 issues a year when we shine the light on the female consumer. It's not, in my mind, strictly speaking, a men's fashion magazine any more than FQ is a woman's fashion magazine. Fashion is always at the core and at the center, but fashion is only one expression of how people live stylishly. In Sir, certainly we did the Armani story, which is a little bit fashion, a little bit travel, a little bit home, a little bit design. Those are all expressions of how people express their style. And fashion is one major part of that. So that's what I mean about the brand FQ, which now has a brother called Sir.
A lot of magazines launch with big, huge, sexy parties. And I think what we really wanted to do, because Sir is such a huge endeavor, is to do an event that gave us the opportunity to have an event that reflected the spirit of the magazine. And 40 guys plus their dates going on a private train to a casino for a pretty luxurious evening and an overnight stay and a nice sleep in and a private train ride back. That reflects the nature of Sir. Last minute stresses of an event of this nature is who's going to cancel the day before. It's making sure that the team knows what they're doing and where they're supposed to be. It makes sure that our clothing sponsor, which is Hugo Boss, outfits all of us and we all fit into the clothes and who gets what room, who's seating next to who at dinner. There's a lot of last minute. Planning the events that we planned during the film festival, you know what, 10 times less stress than taking a group of 80 people away overnight.
All aboard. We felt that it was appropriate to give 100 guys and their girlfriends, boyfriends, a true Sir experience. So we're putting everybody on a train. We're going to a casino that's about 2 hours train right away. On that train trip, there'll be great cheeses and great wine, some great music.
We're previewing the magazine on the train only. So we'll have 20 copies of Sir on the train with a captive audience to hear some feedback. We'll send the book to them with a handwritten note from Michael, Jeff, and Jeannie and Sheila after the event, thanking them for coming. And by the way, here's why you came. Here's the issue of Sir.
Everyone's got a great suite overlooking Niagara Falls, which is fantastic. And then it will just be a party. And then the next morning, after everyone's lost their money and misbehaved, I'm sure, just a little, we'll put everyone back on the train and bring them back to the city and wish them a good weekend.
I'm pressing casino. Bye.
First course tonight is the Sir Seafood Cocktail, which we've created in honor of the event. It's over the top, it's splashy, with fresh scallops, shrimp, crab, oversized prawns, and an ice wine grapeseed vinaigrette. And we'll follow that with the heirloom tomato salad with basil, olive oil, and fresh flown in from Italy, buffalo mozzarella.
You do this thing where you're so in the thick of the stress of it and your nose is to the grindstone and you're up all night writing and you're stressing because you know, you've got to get the story and you've got to get the pictures and you've got to make it all come together and you've got to make it make sense on the page, and then all of a sudden you sort of, you know, wake up one morning and there it is, and it's happening, and you send it off into the world, and now we've got this guy out there, this guy named Sir, that's going to take on this life of his own. You know, it's like we've given him this identity, and we're just going to build on it. It's the most rewarding thing I can think of. It really is. So here's to Sir, and here's to each and every one of you. Thank you for dreaming the dream along with us, and thanks for being here tonight. Bye-bye, cheers.
The Sir launch was incredible. The train trip going up was a party, and coming back it was like a sleepover. Everybody was either sleeping or pretending that they were sleeping so that someone wouldn't disturb. So we drank champagne going up, and we drank coffee coming back.
Colombia.
Colombia chic. Colombia shoot is our second shoot. We're going to shoot a Sir story and an FQ story at the same time. We're taking 6 people, a production team of 4, and $100,000 behind these 2 stories.
You're gonna do a bathing suit story and what else? The leisure wear story?
I think we could do cruise and bathing suits. I don't think bathing suits for spring is right.
No, I agree.
So we're gonna do swimsuit / cruise wear story and a spring story for FQ. Just because I'm going to start calling in the clothes.
We set up 2 beach stories for 2 separate publications, and it's easier on everybody.
Okay.
I
think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So they're booked 19th to the 23rd. I'm going to tell Rodolfo to go ahead and book it.
We go to Colombia tomorrow. We're gone for 5 days. We get back, and 5 days after that, the magazine ships to the printers. So there's not a lot of room for mistakes. We'll be fine, but it's pretty tight. It's
an environment that we don't know what to expect, and we're there for such a short amount of time. We're doing 2 major shoots, one for FQ and one for Sir. And you know, we don't know what the models are like. You know, thank God we're bringing the photographer, Paul Wright, who's fabulous.
If it rains, it's going to be a challenge. We've got 4 days, so we only really need 2 days to shoot. Let's all say a prayer. Hopefully it's not going to rain every day.
Cover stories.